Welcome to Phil Panner Extra. This is my second channel. My first channel is just Phil Panner. Everything on my first channel is filmed and edited at a higher production than this one, so you're welcome to check it out. Otherwise, enjoy the video. Alright, let's start.
Yeah, man.
Alright, Kester, so we've got my brother's car. I've had this in my garage for a while, and I haven't had a chance to do a video on it. I thought today would be a great opportunity. And we're in the Mount Dandenongs, Melbourne, driving this car. It's been in the shop for at least a year, broken, and that's why I haven't been able to do a video on it.
Well, it's a good day for it, man. And look, we are in the old stomping grounds here in Dandy Mountains. It's always good to be back here. Weather's beautiful, so...
What's stomping grounds?
Hey?
What does that mean?
Stomping grounds? Let's start again.
No, bro, what? I've never heard anyone say
Stomping grounds.
What the fuck does that mean?
Stomping grounds, like hangout place.
Oh, okay.
Coming here and going for a drive.
Shit. When I think stomping ground, I think, isn't there like a beer that's called stomping ground?
Nah, stomping ground is where you would go with your friends to hang out and spend a lot of time.
Ah, right. That must be.
I'll have to Urban Dictionary and make sure I'm right.
Definitely a Queensland saying.
Probably. No, definitely not Queensland.
No.
It might even be fucking, not even Aussie.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it could be American.
Oh, okay. Well, there you
Start again. We won't use stomping grounds.
No, it's alright. We don't need to. Don't worry about starting again. We'll just use what we got. But anyway, we got this. What is it? It's a Ford Falcon XE. And it's not owned by us, so we do have a script of what this car is. I know some of it because it is my brother's car actually, and it's been in the family for quite a long time. So right now it's running a 351 V8 that makes around 400 horsepower. I know that's 100% correct. Also, I'm
and what year was it yet?
Bro, I'm running out of fuel. I need to turn back. Definitely don't want to get caught without fuel.
Exit through Mountain Highway, I think. Coming up.
I'm gonna have to do a U-turn because the petrol station's right there.
That'd be a good idea, yeah.
Yeah, bro. I didn't even like.
You didn't notice?
Not even notice that.
Well, at least we know the fuel gauge working.
Yeah.
For an old Sheila.
I don't even know if the fuel gauge works, man.
That's a good problem to have for this old car, man.
And we'll go over here, and we'll do a bit of a turny. Alright. Maybe we'll yeah, because bro, very low on fuel actually. Alright, we're gonna have to try this one again. It's alright.
This door, bro, it just fucking flies off.
Yeah, bro. I'm telling you, it's like needs some work. Those door cards are very expensive to find as well.
Yeah, it'll be a proper metal fabrication. Get the roller, flatten this out type.
Well, you used to be able to find all these parts at the wreckers with ease. Now you can't. That's why my brother missed the boat. Now he's spending an arm and a leg, and if you want to try and get it fabricated, it's...
You get parts in the US?
Not for this car.
Fuck.
No. Parts are only in Australia, and they barely even exist.
But if he doesn't care so much about the authenticity of it, he could always get something aftermarket upholstery and metal parts, brushed aluminum.
He definitely can. Well, let's go.
Yeah.
Alright. Now we've filled up. Don't have that problem anymore.
How well does the microphone pick up our voices here?
It should pick up pretty well.
Yeah, we don't have to sort of
no, you don't have to yell.
Yeah.
No, because that's got it should do pretty well.
Well, we couldn't have picked a better day to do this drive here in the mountains.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome. It is,
especially after the last few days of gloom. Yesterday was raining pretty hard, and no, it doesn't look too busy up here in the mountains too.
I'm gonna try my best not to swear because I have to beep it out.
Oh, that makes two of us, man. I feel like I need to throw the F-bomb in every single thing that I say.
F-bomb is.
But today we are PC.
Yeah, okay.
And we are very professional in the way we speak.
Well, let's be honest. F-bomb is it's like a full stop for us.
Ah, it just keeps things fun and.
Well, it's part of the Australian slang. Let's be real.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right.
It's
so
a good way to emphasize the how we feel about certain things and adjectives and.
Yeah. Like the weather is fucking good.
Fucking good, man.
weather.
This car is fucking amazing.
Good car. Alright. So, brother's car, right? This is my brother's car. It's been sitting in my garage for up to a year. Doesn't get driven much because it broke down. But let's talk about what the car is first.
Yeah.
So it's an old, what is it? 1982 Ford Fairmont Ghia XE. Used to be a 6-cylinder. Used to have an inline 6, 4.1 litre. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
4.1 litre inline 6 engine from Ford, and my brother used to drive it around when he was on his restricted license, because you can't drive a P-plate car.
So what motor is it being replaced with?
That didn't make any sense. You can't drive a V8 on your P-plates, your restricted license. Then he swapped a Cleveland 351 out of another car. I don't recall which car. I'm sure you have it written down. But it was a 351. It's a V8. I think it's a 5.8 litre V8. And he rebuilt that engine. He actually rebuilt it twice. The first time he rebuilt it, the engine sat for 5 years before it actually got into the engine bay. And when we put the engine in the car, it ended up to be, how do I say it nicely? It was fucked. There's no other word for it. The engine was completely screwed. Whoever built it didn't do a really good job, or the engine sat for too long and there wasn't the ability to test it and get warrant for it. I'm pretty sure when the engine was built, it was like operated. It did get dynoed at the crank and all that. But because the engine sat for so long, we didn't really know whether it was going to fuck up or not.
It sounds like the car's been part of the family for a very long time.
It's been in the family since when my brother gets the license.
Yeah, right.
2012.
And it's been a project car ever since.
Yeah, well, it's still a project now.
Yeah.
This whole restoration is half baked, and the issue with it is, although the entire drivetrain is reconditioned, so engine is rebuilt, drivetrain, suspension, full drivetrain is rebuilt, but then the interior is falling apart. The exterior is a bit rough around the edges, and a lot of work still needs to be done. So if you wanted to spend more money, you could easily spend 30 grand just to get this car in a tip-top condition. So I think my brother bought this car back in 2012-ish for around $8,000.
Okay.
With the V6, with the inline 6.
Yep.
And you know, because he wanted to keep it and rebuild it, he had a perfect opportunity to do so back then and buy all these interior parts and fix things. But obviously you've seen there, you know, we can literally lift that up. Yeah, I know we can't see it on the camera, but I'll pan to another shot.
There you go. I think we can see that one.
Yeah, but you can literally like pull the interior off the car and take it for a spin.
Yeah, you can almost put it together like Lego. You know, nothing is intact, but that's what gives it character.
Yeah, but Lego is a bit stronger, let's be real.
Lego is a little bit stronger. It's a bit more airtight.
It actually clicks together.
Speaking of opportunity, Anthony, if you're watching this, mate, thanks for letting us, giving us the chance to drive your car around.
Well, I don't think he has a choice. It's living at my house.
Oh, there you go.
We got some new tyres on it recently, and my brother's happy for me to drive it around because he lives in the UK now, and he's probably going to be there for another year or so. So I'm driving around his muscle car because you know, if you leave a car like this sitting around without being driven for so long, it tends to deteriorate. Leaks start occurring. You know, any paper seals start to stuff up, and
so it's healthy for it to get driven.
100% healthy for it. The tires get a good run in, and the tires don't get hard spots from sitting for too long.
And all the gunk gets burnt out, I'm sure, as well.
Yeah, the exhaust already spits out plenty of black stuff, plenty of carbon.
But I think he's addressed the most important issue since starting this project, which is rebuilding the engine. And now, have you had a conversation with him about what's next, how much he wants to put in to restoring this car and how tidy he wants it to be? Yeah,
I did actually. I've been pushing him to finish this car because all the parts that are on this car now are very hard to find. You know, these door cards on this car, I'm just trying not to hit these people. These door cards, I think back when 10 years ago, you used to find them at the records for, you know, a couple $100. Now you're looking at rebuilding them for a couple there's a lot of potholes. Yeah. Okay. Oh, Jesus. I was trying to avoid pothole, but
Yeah, you avoided the pothole and dropping the F-bomb too.
Into the next pothole. Bro, this road is, since last time since you remember, it's actually gotten worse. There's potholes for days.
Yeah, that felt a bit rough on that one, but have you got aftermarket shocks and springs in this one?
Yeah, it's got King springs.
Okay.
And they do all right. Like
They're not too bad.
It's a nice cruisy ride. It's you know, the car drives fine. It drives pretty good. Well, this guy's I don't know what you're doing, mate, bro.
There's some nice cars out today.
Yeah, people don't want to wait behind the cyclist. There's some dodgy overtaking. Well, anyway, what I was saying, I got sidetracked. Parts on this car are very expensive. If you wanted to find them, it's very hard, and you would have to possibly recondition those parts anyway. So my brother is now at a period of time where if he wanted to finish this car, it would cost a significant amount of money to do so. Less about the paint. Paint's whatever. You just find someone to paint it. You pay your 15 grand to get it done properly, and that's all good. It's the parts that you have to restore, and those parts don't come across. They don't come up very often, and this is obviously a problem with most old cars, right? Old cars that don't really have their place because not many people own them. They've been trashed, they've been wrecked, and yeah, he's gonna have a hard time finding all the parts. These seats are probably gonna have to be reupholstered properly by someone, and even car upholstery, automotive upholstery is very, very expensive because that trade doesn't really exist anymore.
Which, in saying that, given the car and the name that it has for itself, being an old classic as well, what a project to undertake, and well worth the investment, I'm sure, given he's held this for about a decade as well, or over a decade now.
Over a decade, yeah.
So, you know, there's been sentimental value there, time and effort and money invested already. So it's just seeing it through the end, which I think will be well worth it.
Well, look, this car is definitely sentimental. Like, ever since he's owned it, I've helped him do stuff on it. He's done a lot of work on this himself. He's taken a lot of parts off. He's been part of the engine restoration. He's been part of the putting in the engine. There's been a lot of things that have been done by ourselves over a long period of time. It is definitely a car that would hold sentimental value to him. When you ask me the question of what the next steps are, honestly, I think he's in between, you know, do I keep it? Do I sell it? Do I drive it as it is? Obviously, he's in the UK, so he doesn't really have much of a thought about it now. But overall, my dad, being a car lover, he loves his Fords. He wants my brother to keep it forever, and he would possibly even buy it off my brother if my brother tried to sell it. But for me, you know, I love the car. It's nice. It's an Australian icon, but it's automatic. And if these cars came out in manual, there was a 5-litre V8 version, I'm pretty sure, of the XE, and it came out in manual. Right. If I was to own this, the first thing I'd be doing is manual swapping it, just to get the fun aspect back. And then this car has extreme amounts of body roll, and even now in the corners you can probably feel it. You need to stiffen up the suspension a little bit more. You need to get some anti-roll bars and all that kind of stuff so that you can actually take corners and whatnot. Right now, this is great in a straight line, and that's about it. Right. Yeah.
Well, driving experience aside, I think much more than that experience is the history that this has for Anthony, the family, and the sentimental value it holds. So I think that's more so the reason to keep it rather than the driving experience itself, which in both reasons is quite noble, and it's good.
Well, yeah, most cars, a lot of these are old V8s, like they don't really handle too great. They're a bit more show pony than they are, you know, something that you can drive around.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Whoa.
That is
What
weird.
is that?
I have no idea what that is.
What do you cater him?
Dude,
Cater him?
That, I don't know. Honestly, that looks like someone built that in their backyard. So, do you know,
three-wheel car.
This car, it actually has a number of different engine options. I'm pretty sure it came out with a turbo as well. So there's a inline 6-cylinder, which is just the standard XE. Then there's the VA, which I don't know what model it is, and I don't know if it's just the Fairmont Ghia VA. I don't know what they called it. And I'm pretty sure there's the XE ESP, which is a inline 6 with a turbo. And my brother's friend has the ESP, or he built it as a mock-up ESP. So it's got a turbo on a 6-cylinder, and it's not as powerful as this, but it's unique in its own way. He's done a lot of work to his, and he actually bought all the parts for it. So inside his interior, it's pretty clean.
This engine that's in this car now, was it a bolt-on, or was there a lot of modifications that needed to be done to mount this thing in there?
No, I'm pretty sure it just sort of went in.
Just bolt-on,
with
yeah.
minimal fabrication work.
Excellent.
Because yeah, it was kind of just like a plug and play kind of thing.
Sure.
You buy the special mounts for it. Because I'm not 100% sure whether this is a reconditioned version of the XE engine. Actually, do you want to pull it up? I think it might be in that
Let's
message.
have a look. So 4.1 litre straight 6 carb was the original. Now it's got a 351 Cleveland engine, which was available in Ford Falcon still 1982, 400 horsepower. That's about information I got in here.
Okay, so it was originally in a Ford Falcon, so that means it would have been a straight bolt into here.
There you go.
So yeah, he's obviously got more horsepower out of this than what it would normally be. So maybe the existing engine was also a 5.8 litre.
Which you mentioned a strange sort of noise coming out of the engine bay before. I actually feel like it's coming out smoothly and...
Well, no, the noise is in the engine. The noises is everything else. Everything squeaks. You've got the rear, what are those blinds called? I'm not sure if you've noticed it. They're like those car blinds, those metal things. The name escapes me. I forget what they're called. They rattle, you know, all the interior parts rattle. And I've owned cars that are very rigid, right? And when you hear a new noise, you kind of get a bit of anxiety, because it's like, oh, is something going to break now? And that's basically this car in a nutshell. It is just a bundle of anxiety, especially because I've been in this car, broken down in it twice. The first time was because it's got a aftermarket injection system called the Sniper EFI. It's a system that's hand built in America, I think, and it's a wonderful system. It works on many cars, but the problem was that whoever installed his one, he didn't do it himself, he got someone to install it. They somehow shorted the module, and there's like a little ECU on the EFI, and it didn't work properly. So what was happening was the car wasn't running right, and then one day the car decided to just die on me and break down. So the car was out of action for such a long period of time, and it was only recent when we were able to, you know, get it back up and running. And now it's got a brand new Sniper EFI. We sent it back to America, and now the new module's being replaced, and it works perfectly now. But when you mix old electronics with newer electronics, say that again. When you mix new electronics with old cars, sometimes it doesn't work.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a organ transplant, and the body's rejecting it, and that's what happened with this car.
Right.
Otherwise, everything else is pretty much like old-fashioned-ish, except for the ECU.
And that's quite inherent in these old fun cars, isn't it? And as the name suggests, it is fun, but you just have to be sort of mindful about driving these things and knowing that issues linger around and could present itself at unexpected times.
Well, yeah, there's that as well. And you've owned cars that have broken down, and have you broken down in any of your cars before?
I have broken down in a not so much an old car. It was more so a modern car that I bought. That was a lemon Suzuki Grand Vitara.
Oh yeah.
Not an interesting car to talk about at all. It was just a lemon when it was purchased, and yeah, it was sold for very cheap at the wreckers. $2,000. Take it. I don't want to have to deal with it. So
yeah, but it was
like, in the middle of a freeway, so not a pleasant experience at all.
Yeah, the Grand Vitara is actually like a hot topic for four-wheel drive channels, I'm sure.
Well, there's quite a few forums, I mean, that talk about that. I think it's a JB74 engine, I don't actually know how I remember that, but goes to show the nightmare that I went through trying to figure out how to fix that thing, because I did try to repair it myself.
Yeah.
So when I hear JB74, just look out, stay far away.
Well, like even this car, because I know my other cars pretty well. So when something goes wrong, I tend to know, okay, I know what it is now, because you've owned the car for a long time. Because this is not my car, when something doesn't work as it should, I freak out because I don't know how it works. And I end up contacting my brother's mate, because he owns the Turbo XE,
right.
And he's like, I don't know what's going on with your car. It's a different car. It's a nice Datsun. There's a lot of cars out today.
Yeah.
And I didn't tell you this, but when the car came back, I got it back a couple of weeks ago from being repaired. The tires need to be changed, and I wanted to go to my brother's mate's place to test out his tire fitment, because he's got thicker tires on his, and I just wanted to swap them around to see if the car would rub or not. And when I started going there, and you might notice this is mounted on the dash now, there's the temperature, right? And the temperature for this car has to be under 100 degrees Celsius. This is a temperature gauge here with a needle. What I did was I started the car as normal, started driving to my friend's house, and the temperature gauge was reading all the way to high. And I was looking at it, I'm like, oh, that can't be right. And I started to freak out because I didn't want to blow the engine or overheat the engine. And also it just came back from the mechanics. I haven't driven it in almost, a couple months, almost a year, like 9 months to a year. And I didn't know if another problem had come up. And I didn't know the EFI was also connected to the temperature to read it, because obviously this doesn't really speak temperature. It just says some random letters, and you just don't know until I asked my brother. But I started freaking out, and I pulled over, and I was looking under the engine. I was like, oh, is it overheating? It didn't have any signs of overheating, but like, it's not your car, you don't want to risk it. And I was freaking the fuck out, and I didn't know what to do. And I was like, oh, do I go back home? Do I go there? And I called my dad. My dad doesn't know, even though he knows more about the car than I do. Tried to get in touch with my brother in the UK, wasn't answering. And then I was like trying to find out because the car didn't have clear signs of overheating, do I take the risk? In the end, because I'm not sure if you know much about coolant, the coolant was fully topped up, that was fine. But also, do you know how the coolant has an overflow bottle?
Yes.
It wasn't reading hot, it was reading cold, which meant that the car was actually at a good temperature, it wasn't overheating. So that means I left it down to the needle being broken, and I tried to locate the needle in the engine bay. It turns out that the connection was faulty. Right. It was actually, the connection's broken. So whether you have it connected, like right now it's reading fine, but because the connection is it's a bit corroded and the actual connector's split, so it doesn't have a good connection, what happened was every now and again it would read different things. Right. Whereas now I'm looking at the EFI Sniper screen, because it's connected properly, and it tells me that it's sitting right at 80 degrees. And that's good temperature. That's what we want. Yeah,
that makes sense. It probably comes in and out in connection, and could be fixed probably with a bit of sandpaper, some chisel, and bit of electrical spray.
Sandpaper, chisel ain't fixing this thing. This needs a full rewire. It's the wires are like, they're not really heat protected properly. They're sitting in the engine bay. Something needs to change. It's not my job to do it. It's my brother's car. I can only do so much. I've got another broken car to fix at my house. My job is to drive it around and keep it running, and make sure the rego insurance is all paid up. That's about as far as my job goes here.
You've got the Ford Mustang, which I'm not sure if you've made a video on, and the XE white car, I believe.
XY. No, they're my dad's cars, but yeah.
But how would you rate these three cars? 3 being your least favorite and 1 being your
hold that thought. I'm gonna punch it. It goes.
Let's go pretty good.
It definitely goes.
Definitely the fastest one out of the 3.
Yeah. So the XY the XY Falcon was rebuilt to a factory number. It does not have any more power. The Mustang, which isn't built yet, I don't know because I haven't ever driven it when the engine got rebuilt. This car, 400 horsepower, it would be the fastest car across the family, I would say, even faster than any car that I own, and also being automatic.
Except for the Jimny. Jimny goes, man.
Oh yeah, the Jimny's so fast.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
so
watch
good.
out.
It works
That's it.
the best.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't brake on me.
It'd smoke this in a straight line for sure.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, you know, NA was a 1.3 litre engine.
Yeah.
No,
Paved road, off road,
oh, just
air,
bro,
on ground.
If you put wings on that thing, it'll just take
Oh,
off.
it'll just fly, man.
Yeah, but yeah, it's definitely the fastest car
Yeah.
that is in the family at the moment. And I want to give you some of the experience. Let's go back to those factories, and you can
Take
see
a bit
what
of a
it's
spin,
all about. Got to get some of that carbon out, you know. But
It's definitely lost its smell.
oh, hasn't.
Or maybe just because I'm not sitting in the fucking back.
So, oh no, because you were behind.
Yeah.
The cabin. So when the windows are down, when the windows are up, the cabin just stinks like car fumes. I don't know why that's the case. There must be some sort of leak between the firewall, maybe underneath the car. I'm sure the exhaust is not 100% sealed properly, and if there's normally you'd have, you know, carpet protecting you or some sort of barrier between the engine exhaust and the body and, you know, us. But I don't think there is much of a protection. Like, I'm sure there's some holes in the car somewhere where fumes just leak.
That'll come with a restoration, but you know what? The as far as this experience goes, driving it for the last half an hour to an hour, the engine sounds absolutely mint.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good car.
Yeah.
Look, long term, I think it'd be a keeper for him. If you own this, what would you do to it? Like, would you own a car like this?
I would own a car like this, you know, knowing myself that I'm quite pedantic with how I like to keep my stuff. And I guess maybe borderline OCD.
Yeah, me too. That's why
I would want to
cringe a
focus
little
on
bit.
the aesthetics. I just think the sequence that he's done it with is strategized very well, because nothing worse than focusing on the aesthetics and then finding out the engine needs a lot more work. So
Yeah,
sequence wise, it was good.
it's definitely like one thing that I struggle with, and this is why my own build is taking so long. Actually, I wouldn't even call it a build. You know, my own maintenance on my car. Like, I'm doing things here and there. It takes long because I struggle to have a car that's half built. For me, the fact that the interior has missing parts and it's not perfect. If I owned this car, if this was my car, I'd be stressing to try and find all the parts to get it to a point where it's nice. And with my brother's a bit more easygoing, and he's like, he resprayed the engine bay, he redid the engine, that's done. He sprayed the underneath of the car to an extent. There's still rust under the doors. You know, there are points I wouldn't go and spray an engine bay. I would just spray the whole car. I'd get all the rust cut out, but that's an expensive exercise. So my brother didn't want to do that. He said, I'll do it later, but now it's more expensive later. So with my build, the reason why it's taken me so long is because I'm trying to spray every part, every bolt that I take off.
Right.
Only recently, I'm just like, you know what, this is getting beyond the joke. At some point, I might come back in here and rebuild the car, because who knows how long the engine's going to go. I might have to get a new engine, and then you have to take everything apart anyway. So why waste so much time focusing on things that don't matter? But my brother's the extreme. This is the extreme, and what I'm trying to do is like the middle of like not being so pedantic about cars. And just getting shit done because you can't see it anyway.
Well, exactly. I think pedanticness sometimes as well comes with having time to be pedantic. Like back then I had a lot of time to be pedantic about my cars, to the point where I would replace and fix things that didn't need to be fixed.
Which is the worst, because
you don't fix what's not broke.
You don't fix,
you
end up fixing something that you need fixing for the sake of your mental health.
That's right.
Which is just ridiculous.
Exactly.
All right.
So
let's
we're doing some swapsies, eh?
yeah, let's do
it.
get you in the driver's seat so you can
I might just scoot
provide
over, mate, because
some
this thing
final
only
remarks.
opens on the outside.
No, I'll come open it for you.
Sweet as.
I'll come open.
Alrighty.
Yeah, so the passenger door, for some reason doesn't work anymore, and you have to open it from the outside, and that's just how it is, unfortunately. It's pretty straightforward. Auto, the handbrake's here. Don't bother fucking with the seat.
No,
Can you reach?
leave it. No, I can
Yeah,
reach
the seat is literally not going to go anywhere.
So this handbrake, just run me through it. Press,
Press
release.
release, and then push it forward.
Yep.
And then go into neutral. So you press this.
Yep.
And go into neutral. Yep.
That's neutral now.
And then go into reverse.
So you'd
Now you're in
preferably go neutral first.
Yeah, just to. I'm not sure why, but that's just a habit.
I'm just going nice and
That
slow in
will
this
do.
first bit.
Yeah.
Just want to get a good feel for
There
it.
you go. Now, this car, if you were to put your foot down, it will skip and you will lose control. So just always go like, half pedal
Alright.
until
Yeah,
you
we'll
get
go
used
nice
to
and slow for this first bit. Probably going to go left.
it. Go right.
Go right.
You got a bit more road on the right.
Slow.
And the steering wheel's a bit
Yep.
how you going, but
Okay. You don't need much pedal to really feel that engine go.
no, you don't. You don't. The power in this car is a bit subjective because it's a big, heavy car. It's like a boat, and although you are going fast, it doesn't feel it. When you're in like a smaller car, like a Civic, and if you have a lot of power in it, it feels like a lot faster. You're lower to the ground. So there is, you might go fast, but it doesn't actually feel like you're going fast.
Right or left?
Take a right.
Take a right.
Yeah.
Within that first 10 seconds, I could imagine this car being an excellent cruiser for places like the Great Ocean Road.
Yeah, you can punch it. There it goes.
Effortless, man.
I think Great Ocean Road would be terrible in this car.
You think so?
Yeah, it doesn't take corners nicely. It has a lot of body roll. This is a good beach road
I think that's what I had in mind. More
Yeah.
so beach road style rather than twisties.
because you'll feel it. Take the corner, and you feel the roll. Like
Yeah,
It's-
I didn't
yeah.
want to go too close, but I get what you mean. It's like a yacht. It's like a boat.
yeah, it's like a yacht. A lot of old cars are like this, especially old heavy ones, where a decade later, that's where cars started getting lighter, more plastic was introduced. Take a ride.
Take a ride. You know, it's a classic saloon, Phil. Like a Magna or an E-Class.
Well, just Magna.
A Magna, yeah.
A Mitsubishi Magna.
I wonder why I
Single-
compared it to the Magna.
Well, because you own a Magna.
Fuck
And
yeah.
it's a good Magna too.
Excellent Magna.
It's taken a
It's
beating.
going to get chopped, turned to a convertible,
Yeah.
big flares, rocket
Why
bunny.
don't we make it into a Ute?
Excellent idea.
Why not?
Well, we've got a board of ideas. Eventually will get executed.
So one thing I have noticed, although it's not the craziest car in the world, there are some people that take a ride here. There are some people that know the car, right? And they look at it and they're like, oh yeah, sick, mate. Like,
Yeah.
they hear the V8 because you can hear the V8.
What accent was that, Phil?
It's my Vogan accent. You could do it better, right? There you go.
Oh, yeah, fuck, mate. Look at that. Where? Ford Falcon. Might have been a Falcon, but there you go.
But yeah, this car is definitely up there with. If you're a pure Australian, you know your cars, you can spot this from a mile away. It's got its uniqueness to it.
Yeah, and in all honesty, it wouldn't be a head turner, even if you're a car, if you're not a car guy, and you don't know anything about the car. But what would turn other people's heads is obviously the way it sounds. If you're a car guy that appreciates sort of how a car sounds and the fitment of the wheels, because it's done pretty well.
Yeah, well, it's got the original snowflake rims. I'm pretty sure the engine is camped, so that's why it's got that note. It's got that.
That's the word I'm looking for, the note. Yeah.
You know what a rotary sounds like. I know it's stupid to compare to a rotary, but it's got that likes. You know what I mean?
It's a very distinct sound, man.
I'm sure there's a word for it. I'm not a car journalist, so I can't explain it, but it's a very distinct sound that you don't get when the engine is not.
Well, it
camped.
commands attention. I think that's the thing I was looking for. It definitely commands attention on the road.
Now, do you know before the tires were changed, my brother was using these tires that were off my dad's Mustang from 20 years ago. So it was 20-year-old tires. These tires were so hard that you would be just driving normally and it would start spinning, and it was like driving on ice skates.
So it was fun.
Ridiculous. Oh look, for me, I'm not a skidding type of guy, so I didn't find it too fun. I found it quite annoying because I actually like to maintain grip on the road.
Sorry, left straight.
You can go right again. We'll go down the factories and then we'll do our swaps at the post office again. But yeah, what do you think overall?
Smoother than I expected, you know, and overall, as you asked me before, man, you know, what would I do if I owned something like this? Being the pedantic guy that I am, I'd focus a lot on making it mine, which is usually ensuring that everything works, all the bits are intact, things are polished up. Just because I do like to keep my car in good nick. And in working condition, so that I could drive it as much as possible and not worry about things breaking down or wiring not working. So but overall, smoother than I expected. It's quite an enjoyable drive.
Yeah, look, I really like it.
Me too.
I don't go too far with it for obvious reasons, because now I've got breakdown anxiety with this car.
Yep.
And I have to be within range of a tow truck. Which sucks to say, because I honestly, I feel like a lot of people who restore their cars have this problem, where you can't go so far, or you might break down. Some people might be more in tune with their cars; they might think otherwise, and you know that's not a thing. But this car broken down it's broken down twice for me, so I'm definitely not going to trust it as much as, you know, my Honda Civic that's never broken down, it's never missed a beat.
But perfect for a day like this, definitely on a beach road type environment.
Yeah.
Would be an excellent cruiser.
Oh, 100%.
Couldn't fault it for that type of driving.
We can go to beach road one day.
Alright, so I'll give it one more gas and we'll find a place to park and do a swapsy.
Go slow. So go slow. You can pop it into second, which is the automatic low gear, and then you can punch it. Put it into drive. Yeah. So it's the gears like cycle slowly.
Yep.
But yeah, you can put it in from first, but first is probably a bit more tire spin.
That's how many speed is this car?
It's 3-speed. 3-speed. Yeah.
Wow. That I didn't expect. I was expecting a 4 or something, but there you go.
Alright, let's go find that shady post office spot. Just keep going, bro. It's a couple rights and lefts and whatnot.
Yeah, I think we turned right here.
Take a right here. Alright, keep going straight.
Turn right here again.
Yeah. Go back to that post office.
Sweet.
Do you want to do the sign off, man?
Sign off.
Yeah.
Remind me what the sign off is.
The sign off, you know.
It's the like and subscribe.
Yeah, something like that. Like,
alright,
we're done. This is the video.
Alright, so we're coming to the end of this now, Phil. I think
post offices.
I'm feeling pretty hungry and thirsty, so I don't know about you, but yeah, we probably head back and grab something to eat. So no, it's been an excellent drive. Obviously, thank you for the opportunity to experience this car. It's been enjoyable. So we're signing off. If you're watching, fuck, I don't even know why I said if you're watching, because you're obviously watching. But
it takes a bit of getting used to, man.
Like,
the sign on.
comment and subscribe if you enjoy this video. Drop some recommendations of what else you'd like for us to create. And
are you part of the YouTube channel?
I am now part of the YouTube channel. It's official, Phil.
There you go, it's official. So you're
It
going
is
to do the next
official.
one. Well, you got to move to Melbourne first.
That's it. We're working on that. Signing off. Cheers, guys.